Hi guys, Mark Dawes here. It's Saturday the 19th of August and I've been meaning to do this blog post for a while actually, so I thought I'd finally get round to it because it's very, very important. And this is straight off the HSE's website. The title, headline if you like, NHS Trust fined £1 million following 53-year-old man's death in Lincolnshire. And basically it's the unfortunate death of a 53-year-old John Biggadike who died at Pilgrim Hospital in Boston. And you can read all this. I'll put a link below the video to this website where you can actually go and read this yourself. But basically this gentleman died from internal injuries after falling onto an exposed metal post on the standing aid hoist that staff were using to support him. It says here that the kneepad on the standing aid hoist had been incorrectly removed, leaving the exposed metal post that caused the fatal injuries when he collapsed after standing up. And also, what the HSE picked up on here, it was in the investigation, they found the trust did not have systems for training and monitoring how staff used the standing aid hoist, and unsafe practices had developed. And they've been ordered to pay £160,000 in costs and also to pay £3,800 to Mr Biggadike's family to cover the cost of his funeral. Now, the interesting point is here is this bit. It says, if staff had received effective training and monitoring in the use of the standing aid hoist, Mr Biggadike's death could have been avoided. It brings me back to the point that I actually want to talk about here, and that's in one point of this is the use of equipment. Now, many organisations out there use equipment. I mean, we've been, a forerunner in many ways of encouraging people to use things like beanbags. But, you need to have the right piece of kit, because imagine, for example, if you were using a beanbag and the beanbag burst during a restraint because it wasn't fit for purpose. And someone got injured or, God forbid, died as a result, maybe landing on something on the floor, something sharp, for example. Because when people use beanbags for restraint, and we know this happens, but, instead of going and purchasing one that's fit for purpose, they'll go to a local store and purchase the cheapest one they can. Which is why, this piece of kit here, the safety pod, is the piece of kit that we are now recommending that people use. And you've probably seen videos on this before. You can get in touch with the guys at ukpodslimited.co.uk, and if you're coming on the Restraint Instructors course in September, or if you're coming on the refresher in September, then you'll get a demonstration of this piece of kit, because this is fit for purpose. And here's the thing, when we use equipment, going back to this actual case here, the equipment's got to be fit for purpose. Now, the other piece of kit that we actually promote is the soft restraint kit. Again, it's been made fit for purpose. And the soft restraint kit, like the safety pod, has been industry tested, SATRA tested, it's been medically reviewed. And yes, there's other people out there who've come up with other things. But once again, if a piece of kit fails because it's not fit for purpose and someone dies as a result and the health and safety executive investigate, here's a case here where there was, a £1 million payout. They were fined £1 million. So a thing to bear in mind, as a trainer, consultant, or as a commissioning agency, is if you're going to use any piece of equipment, it must be fit for purpose, it must be checked, and as is picked up in this case here, staff must be trained. And that brings me on to the other point of this video is, this is a handling issue, a people handling issue, and physical restraint, physical intervention, whatever you want to call it, a PMBA, we are handling people, and that makes it a manual handling activity. And I want to go back to this point at the bottom here. It says, if staff had received effective training and monitoring. It's not just training, it's effective training, and staff need to be monitored. Now, as part of our Restraint Instructors course, it's been risk assessed in line with the manual handling regulations. So everything there is effective. It is fit for purpose. And we have all of the audits, legal audits and health and safety reviews and medical reviews to actually, support that fact. And going back to the equipment we actually recommend, we recommend equipment like this, which again, it's been industry tested and medically reviewed, and the safety pod, which has been industry tested and medically reviewed. So just a point I wanted you to bear in mind. This was a thing I've been meaning to do for quite a while now, because it is relative. If we are training staff in the use of restraint, physical intervention, PMBA, whatever you want to call it, then we need to have a restraint reduction strategy in place. We need to be looking at least restrictive intervention options. The safety pod, the soft restraint kit, they provide that, and they are fit for purpose. They are tested to industry standard and medically reviewed. So, don't just go and buy a beanbag from your local store. Don't just go and buy a pair of handcuffs or soft cuffs or belts that you see advertised on eBay. Ask the question and ask to see the evidence if they've been industry tested and if they've been medically reviewed. Because if and when it goes wrong, that will trigger a HSE investigation, and if an investigation under Section 6, they will go through all the documentation. So that's all I want to say on this one. Link below to this website. I'll also leave links below to the soft restraint kit and also to the safety pod as well, and also to our restraint instructors course. But if you are looking at that one, you better get on there quick because it's literally now full. Thanks, guys. As usual, any questions, drop me an email, send me a text, pick up the phone. Love to hear from you. Take care now.